Right now, you are probably working at a job. Maybe you are getting ready for a shift, or you might be recovering from a long day. But for most of human history, jobs did not exist. There were no applications to fill out, no interviews happened, no 2-week notices were ever given. For roughly 290,000 years, modern humans lived without any employment. They had no bosses or weekend concepts. So, what did ancient humans actually do all day long? The real answer is not what you would expect at all. Let us clear up a huge myth first. Our ancestors were definitely not lazy people. They worked very hard to survive. However, their daily labor looked nothing like our modern routines. There were no specialists back then. No one introduced themselves as a hunter or a gatherer. It was never seen as a career path. You simply did what needed doing when it was time. After the work was finished, you just stopped. Anthropologists study modern hunter-gatherer societies to find answers. They discovered something truly shocking about our past. These modern groups live just like our ancient ancestors did. They only work roughly 3 to 5 hours every single day. That is all. The rest of their time is spent on social activities. They enjoy plenty of rest, play, and deep storytelling. They spend hours making beautiful things or just existing together. Now, compare that to the average modern worker today. You spend 8 hours at an office desk. You endure long commute times. Then you check emails at night. We proudly call this major progress. But here is what is truly strange about history. Early humans were not constantly scrambling just for survival. That is a false story we have been told. Archaeological evidence shows us something completely different. Ancient people had abundant food sources in most global regions. Hunting and gathering is highly efficient when you know the land. You do not need 40 hours to feed yourself. You just eat what grows naturally all around you. The famous Hadza people of Tanzania still live this way. Researchers tracked their daily time carefully. Men hunt for about 2 hours each morning. Women gather for 3 to 5 hours total. They move in groups and talk the entire time. By the afternoon, their work is done. The evening is for games. They enjoy music, socializing, and deep rest. Their children play without any structured activities. No one is trying to optimize their personal productivity. This lifestyle was not bitter poverty. It was true abundance. Ancient humans had something we have completely lost today. They had time. They possessed massive amounts of unstructured, unhurried time. They had time to learn about their natural environment. They had time to create incredible art. The oldest known cave paintings are over 40,000 years old. These beautiful images were not made by professionals. No one painted them during strict working hours. They were created by regular people. They had the free time to build beauty for its own sake. They made unique jewelry from ocean shells and old bones. They carefully carved musical flutes from vulture wings. They told complex stories that we still share today. None of this creative expression was a job. It was just daily life. So, when did regular jobs actually begin? The massive shift happened about 12,000 years ago. It arrived with the dawn of agriculture, and it was definitely not a life upgrade. When humans started farming, something unexpected happened. People began working much more, not less than before. Farming demands constant, brutal labor every day. You must do planting, weeding, and heavy harvesting. You have to store crops and protect them from animals. Fields do not take weekends off. Human skeletons tell the grim story clearly. Archaeologists compare old bones of hunter-gatherers to early farmers. The ancient farmers show many more signs of stress. They suffered from physical disease and terrible malnutrition. Their teeth were much worse. They were physically shorter. They died at younger ages. Agriculture did not make human life easier. It just made survival possible for more people together. But those individuals worked harder and lived much shorter lives. Once you start farming, you cannot leave. Hunter-gatherers could easily move when resources ran out. Farmers were permanently stuck to their land. They invested months of hard work into crops. They built permanent wood and stone structures. They had to stay and defend their creations. That specific moment is when land ownership became important. When you are nomadic, you cannot own very much stuff. You carry what you need. But settled farmers accumulate items. They store surplus grain. They claim specific plots of land. Suddenly, some people have much more than others. Then comes the rise of specialization. In a hunter-gatherer group, everyone knows how to do everything. But agricultural societies create potters, weavers, and builders. They create professional soldiers who only do one specific thing. If you do one thing, you need others. You must trade to survive in this world. You suddenly need complex systems and strict social hierarchies. That is exactly where jobs came from. It did not come from progress. It came from human dependency. Once you specialize, you are trapped. A potter cannot just stop making pots to hunt. They have lost that ancient survival knowledge. They rely entirely on other people now. Here is the part that should bother you. We never chose this system individually. No one woke up and decided jobs were better. It happened very gradually over thousands of years. It grew as human societies became larger and more complex. By the time anyone realized the truth, it was too late. It was impossible to go back to the old ways. What exactly did we trade away back then? We traded our personal autonomy for basic security. We have been trying to get it back ever since. Ancient hunter-gatherers made all decisions as equal groups. There were absolutely no bosses. No single person could force you to do anything. If you disliked the group, you could just leave. Anthropologists call this fierce egalitarianism. It was not a political philosophy at all. It was just basic survival for them. Groups that let one person dominate never lasted long. But modern jobs require strict hierarchy. Someone always owns the land, tools, and product. Someone else must provide the daily labor. That is not true collaboration. It is a rigid power structure. Once that structure exists, it spreads everywhere. Early ancient cities had kings, priests, and merchants. They also had millions of poor laborers. The laborers worked the hardest, yet they owned the absolute least. They could not leave because they had nowhere to go. All the surrounding land was claimed. All resources were controlled by elites. True freedom became something only the wealthy could afford. For most history, humans worked from sunrise to sunset. They labored 6 or 7 days a week. Farmers, servants, and laborers worked until their bodies broke down. This was not a career path. It was pure survival. The modern concept of a job did not exist yet. A job separate from your existence arrived later. It solidified during the Industrial Revolution. Factories suddenly needed regular workers at very specific times. You did not work your own land anymore. Instead, you sold your precious time. You gave up 8, 10, or 14 hours a day. You worked in a building you did not own. You made products you would never use. You earned low wages that barely kept you alive. Small children worked deep in coal mines. Women labored all day in crowded textile mills. They breathed dangerous cotton fibers that destroyed their lungs. People died in tragic factory accidents very often. It barely ever made the local news. This dangerous system was called progress. This was called modern civilization. Soon, organized labor movements fought back. Hard-working unions demanded weekends and 8-hour workdays. They fought for basic safety regulations. These benefits were not gifts from generous employers. They were won through strikes and heavy violence. It took decades of organized resistance. The 40-hour workweek is standard today. We even find it insufficient to survive on now. Yet, it was a radical demand in 1926. But here is what is strange today. We won those historic battles long ago, and then we just stopped fighting for more free time. We blindly accepted the new standard. Working 40 hours a week seemed reasonable to us. We did this 50 weeks a year. We agreed to do it for 40 years. We built our entire modern society around this schedule. Mortgages, car payments, and health insurance require it. Retirement plans assume you will keep working forever, yet it is still not enough money. Our collective productivity has exploded since the 1970s. Advanced technology was supposed to free us. We invented computers, automation, and the internet. We produce more wealth per hour than ever before, but average wages stopped growing. Work hours did not decrease at all. We just work much harder now. The average American works more hours than a medieval peasant. That is not an exaggeration. Medieval laborers actually had every Sunday off. They enjoyed many saints' days and harvest festivals. They had long winter breaks with little farm work. They worked hard during planting seasons, but they averaged around 1,500 hours per year. The modern American works over 1,800 hours. We have smart devices, but we are less free than cave dwellers. We have advanced medicine, but we feel more stressed. We have material abundance, but no time to enjoy it. This happens because jobs are not just tasks anymore. They have become who we are as people. When you meet someone new, they ask a question. They ask what you do for a living. They do not ask who you really are inside. They do not ask what you love doing. They do not care what makes you feel alive. They just want to know your income source. Your job has become your entire identity. If you lose your job, society judges you. People think you have lost your human purpose. But remember the long timeline of human history. For almost the entire existence of our species, no one had a job. Ancient people possessed deep skills, roles, and community contributions. They had strong relationships with each other. Most importantly, they had open time, and those ancient people were just like us. They had the same brains and capacities. They felt the same deep need for meaning. We did not evolve to sit in plastic chairs all day. We hate fluorescent lights. We should not stare at glowing screens for hours. Answering endless emails is not our destiny. Attending boring meetings about meetings is unnatural. Human beings evolved to move their bodies. We were born to create things and connect deeply. We need to rest when we feel tired. We should work only when we feel truly motivated. Modern jobs are completely artificial. They are not an inevitable part of life. They are just a rigid system we inherited. Perhaps it is worth asking a serious question now. Was this historical trade really worth it? We gave up a vast amount of freedom. We are still paying a heavy price today. We proudly call this civilization. We call this daily grind progress. But our ancient ancestors knew better. They painted beautiful caves and carved musical flutes. They knew every single plant in their large territory. They possessed something we desperately want back. We try to buy it with vacation days. We save for distant retirement plans. They had full control over their time. We are still working every single day just to get ours back. Let us rethink the entire system. Consider how much of your life belongs to you. Think about the hours lost to meaningless tasks. Our ancestors survived by trusting each other, not corporations. They measured wealth by freedom, not by bank accounts. We have traded the open sky for tiny cubicles. We have replaced community storytelling with digital screens. This constant rush is draining our human spirit. It is time to question the modern routine. You are more than a line on a resume. Your worth is not defined by economic output. We must remember our deep history to change our future. True progress should mean working less and living more. We need to reclaim our time before it slips away completely. That is the real lesson from our ancient past. Let us look closely at our daily stress. We hurry through mornings to sit in traffic jams. We stress over deadlines that do not truly matter. We sacrifice our health for temporary wealth. This cycle repeats itself generation after generation, but it does not have to be the only way. We can choose to prioritize human connection again. We can value rest over constant hustle. The ancient path shows us a different lifestyle. It proves humans can live happily with much less labor. We must find a balance in this modern world. Small changes can help us reclaim our autonomy today. Say no to extra tasks that drain you. Spend more unstructured time in nature. Connect deeply with friends without tracking productivity. Remember that your time is your actual life. Do not sell it all away. The corporate world wants you to optimize everything. They want you to turn hobbies into side hustles. They want your rest to be calculated for work. But true rest requires no purpose at all. It is okay to just exist sometimes. It is okay to do nothing productive today. Our ancestors understood this beautiful truth deeply. They lived in the present moment every single day. They did not worry about future quarterly growth. They cared about the campfire and the community. We need to bring that ancient wisdom back now. Let us build a world that honors human needs. We deserve a society that grants us real freedom. The journey starts by questioning the necessity of the grind. We have the power to redefine what success looks like. It is time to work toward a free future.